everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek.
the Humanist Trek podcast.
And you're listening to Humanist Trek, a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of Star Trek Adventures from Modiphius. Your mission: explore the universe, command your crew, and boldly go where no one has gone before. From official miniatures and dice sets to rulebooks, gaming tiles, and story guides, adventure is only a warp jump away. Visit humanisttrek.com/Modiphius or click the link on our website and use code TREK for 10% off.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Welcome aboard.
Jean-Luc Picard to the Starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah?
That is enough, damn it!
Tempo, mon capitan.
To the Starship Enterprise.
But you can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Have you checked this morning?
No,
Should be fine.
it should be fine. It's tonight that'll be the worst
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be like 18 tonight.
Oh, that's true. It's 23 here right now.
23 here too.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. 10:26, 23 degrees. Welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ashmead.
And
You're
let's just use it.
No.
And now over to Allie with the traffic.
Well, Santa's come to a complete halt heading back home, so he's kind of stuck.
Oh, God. Oh, this episode will release on
New Year's Day?
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You know. I don't have any noisemakers.
I don't either.
You can throw some noise in there.
We're grumpy old people now. We don't really do anything for New Year's. We don't try to stay up. Are you kidding me? I'm in bed by 5 most nights.
I'm probably going to be up just cuz, but I might we have like a little neighborhood bar.
Uh-huh.
That I might go to. I've been there before. They have really good live music. And it's 2 minutes from the house, so I'm like, I think it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. How was your Christmas day?
It was nice and quiet. I didn't do shit. For 2 days, well, actually, I was going to say for 2 days I didn't do anything. Laid around, watched lots of TV, and did a lot of shopping online, and it was great, and did some napping. It was great. What was yours?
Well, we didn't really do anything either. We did Christmas with the kids early because we figured, like, you know, again, they know better now, and so
they don't believe in Santa Claus.
There isn't any point in waiting for the 25th. So it was like, well, we got 2 weeks of Christmas vacation. Let's just dive in. And so we did that. And this year was not a very big gift giving year because we're super poor and dealing with this house problem and all that stuff. So it was a very light year, but we all got to like spend time together and sit around the table and play Uno, and it was good. And just rest and relax. So
honestly, what are you going to remember one of the kids gonna remember more. Oh, well, I remember that one time I got this thing for. No, they're gonna remember all the fun games and stuff. And just, I mean, okay.
Okay, I grew up a very privileged existence, and so, and I was the generation of the TV shows designed to sell toys to kids, right? So, yeah, I remember getting the Ewok Village for Christmas one year. I remember getting the G.I. Joe whatever. Like, I remember all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't have those memories.
Speaking of memories, we have some bad news this week, and Allie will be bringing us the bad news. And the good news.
Yeah.
There's some good that comes out of the tragedy.
Yeah, and I think this episode that we're about to cover, because it deals with death and how to grieve. I think this is perfect. So many of you may already follow the Sci-Fi Sisters. They're an amazing podcast group of people that cover all things sci-fi, not just Star Trek. And they have a great podcast that they have a huge presence at lots of the different conventions, the New York Comic-Con, all over. The Star Trek cruise. And I met them on the Star Trek cruise in 2023. My first time, they basically welcomed me into their little fold, and I got to hang out with them, and I hung out with them the following year, and then I've seen them at cons, and I mean, I really adore them. The first year that I went, I met Sabrina Wood. She was just a huge sci-fi fan and advocate for STEAM and just amazing person. And unfortunately, she did pass away in mid-November. And there was such an outpouring of love from the Star Trek community, the sci-fi community, and it was just, it's really, this is when we close ranks and we, love on the people, because we sci-fi fans and Star Trek fans, we do really care about each other. And I definitely saw that in the outpouring of love for Sabrina. So I wanted to just mention that. And out of sadness comes something wonderful. Sci-Fi Sisters introduced the Sabrina Wood Legacy Fund in honor of Sabrina, who, again, she was a fierce sci-fi fan, an advocate for STEAM, and a champion for community care. For every $1,000 raised through their store, they have a bonfire store, that's going to allow them to give 500 Boldly Go grants to support education in STEAM, creativity and fandom access, and medical support and cause donations. So definitely check out the Sci-Fi Sisters store to support this. I think they've already given away one grant, and I'm just like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, and what a great way to honor a true sci-fi fan and an advocate for science.
Yeah. And you support this fund by buying stuff from their store, and they have some fun t-shirt designs and mugs and hats and stuff.
Yes.
Lots of great stuff to pick up and support this great cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great way to honor Sabrina.
Yeah.
With these grants. I love it. We'll put a link in the show notes so that you can check it out and help support if you'd like. And now we got to turn the car towards I'm tempted to say something like, she didn't leave behind any young boys that need us to go do a Klingon ritual or anything, did she?
I don't know. No. No.
Well, we all grieve in different ways, and Star Trek takes swings at grief and loss a lot, like we do this week in Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 5, The Bonding.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What? That's something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir. It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse comm.
Number one, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number one, keep them out of my way.
This week, Worf is on a planet accompanying some archaeologists studying the Koinonians. And on the bridge, Data's Encyclopedia Britannica report on these ancient aliens. is that they were an intelligent culture that got dragged into a war that lasted several generations. Best evidence indicates they destroyed themselves. So Worf gives another update. They're just about done surveying the third tunnel and heading into the ceremonial chamber. There's a red flag if I've ever heard of one. And we're about to enter the ceremonial chamber. There's booby traps in there.
Wait, wrong episode. I love the way Picard says booby. So sorry. As they're doing what they're doing, Troy just gets this look on her face, and she's like, "Captain, you got to beam them up quickly." But too late. Worf calls back with there's an emergency beam up, severe injuries, and Picard gets on the horn to the transporter room, and O'Brien has already beamed them up, and they beam them straight to sick bay.
And other than some like minor burns and lacerations, Worf seems to be fine, along with the UC blue shirt and some dude in a gray jumpsuit. He must be the archaeologist. But on the ground, there's a lady blue shirt with some Halloween blood all over her face. Dead on arrival.
Oh my God! They've killed
Marla Astor.
You bastards!
We will soon learn that this is Lieutenant Marla Astor, played by Susan Powell. She doesn't have a ton of credits. A couple episodes of the $6 Million Man TV series, TJ Hooker, Days of Our Lives, and Ellen. And Ellen's her last credit in 1996.
We have completed our survey of the third tunnel and will proceed into the ceremonial chamber.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Captain's log. The Enterprise is going to stay in orbit while they figure out why something blew up. But Marla Astor has been killed. It should have been a routine mission. Something went wrong.
Troy pops in with even more bad news. Lieutenant Astor has a son, Jeremy, 12 years old. Unfortunately, his father is also dead, and the only living relatives he has now are an aunt and uncle on Earth.
They said you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
So Picard and Troy have to go to the ship's school now to break the news. And Worf wants in on this one since he commanded the mission. He feels like it's his responsibility. But Picard's like, no, that's my job. I got to go do it.
The death notice.
On the way, Picard calls up Riker to have Geordi prepped for a return to the planet to investigate, and lets the bridge know that he and Troy will be doing this unpleasant business. Of course, Wesley is on the bridge, and this is a situation he's all too familiar with. Picard was the one who had to come tell him that his father had died. And this sparks kind of an emotional conversation where Wes asks Riker, like, how do you guys get used to telling kids that their parents have been killed? And Riker's like, you hope you never do.
Yeah, I really have to give props to Wesley, or actually
Quill Wheaton.
Quill Wheaton.
Why are you saying it like that?
Just he did a great job acting. You could feel the heaviness of he knows what this kid's about to go through.
Yeah.
And you could just feel the heaviness in the way he portrayed it. Great job, Quill Wheaton. Young Quill Wheaton.
We get a quick cut to Worf in a dark room somewhere with a dagger and a candle, and he's clearly contemplating something deep. We don't stay here very long, but he just uses the dagger to put out the flame, and we're in the elevator with Picard and Troy. Real quick cut.
Yeah. I'm sure it's just something to do with just everything with Klingons is so ceremonial,
Yeah, and it's showing that if it's affecting him too in some way.
Very deeply, yeah.
Picard hits pause on the lift so that Troy can therapy him a little before they go and do this. And
they do this thing. They do the elevator thing that if anybody watches NCIS, which I know they do, Gibbs was always stopping the elevator. Everyone stops the elevator so that they can talk before they go do the hard thing that they need to do.
Yep. And right out of the gate, Picard's like, see, I told y'all we shouldn't have children on a starship. And Troy rightly points out, even if Jeremy had been back on Earth, it wouldn't have made any difference. You're still going to have to go tell him his mom's dead. And she's right. He seems to be making a really good argument for if Jeremy had been the one to die, He didn't sign up for Starfleet. He didn't ask for any of this. But it's kind of a weak argument when we're talking about the risk that his mother did willfully sign up for.
Yeah. Everybody knows what their mission is, and then she points out that, well, Wesley Crusher understands, and time is what's going to help. And in time, Jeremy will understand too.
Jeremy sure puts up a stoic front as Picard breaks this news. He asks how it happened and says he's all alone now. And in a very uncharacteristic moment with a child, Picard takes Jeremy by the hand
I know.
and calmly and empathetically says, Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. Nobody on the Enterprise is alone. Jeremy is played by Gabriel Damon, who went on to play, and did you do your homework?
No.
Who went on to play Spot Conlon in Disney's Newsies.
Never fear, Brooklyn is here.
Which I watched a gazillion times growing up.
And that's why you told me to watch it. And
Yes.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
I had no idea this was the same kid. Like this moment was the moment I realized that's the same.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Shocked, I tell you.
I've always believed that carrying children on a starship is a very questionable policy.
This was a fun scene in 10 Forward between Data and Riker, talking about human nature, right? We often use the android to explore the human condition. And
yeah,
lately, Data has been asked by a lot of people, how well did you know Lieutenant Astor? And he just doesn't understand what that question has anything to do with anything. And Riker brings up Tasha's death. And Data's like, yeah, I guess this loss feels different somehow, although he can't really explain why. And Riker's like, well, we feel a loss more intensely when it's a friend. Or in Data's case, a one-time fuck buddy.
She was more than just a,
And when Data suggests that loss should feel the same no matter who has died, Riker agrees and says, maybe if we felt the loss of any life as keenly as we felt the death of those close to us, human history would be a lot less bloody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LaForge calls and says, hey, we've brought back a souvenir from the planet. And then they switch quickly to the ready room where LaForge basically shows that they've brought back this device, 5 more just like them, that killed Lieutenant Astor. They basically employ a subspace proximity detonator. It's like a motion sensor fucking bomb.
Yeah.
But a tricorder wouldn't have detected it. But he's like, it came from the Koinonian Wars, so it's thousands and thousands of years old. But Geordi's like, it's like they were left behind to be found. They were all pretty much diffused and just put out on the ground.
Meanwhile, Worf is down in the space grate storage room, pacing angrily while Troy tries to therapy him. I don't know if if this is supposed to be Worf's quarters or if he's somewhere else, but it does not look like his quarters.
I don't think it's his quarters.
I don't know where he's hanging out, but there's space grate everywhere. And he wants revenge, but how can you seek revenge against a long-dead race of aliens? Of course, Troy is trying to help him process and release all of this anger and frustration, and there is an amazing shot composition in this scene that really telegraphs Worf's change from closed to open. Throughout the scene so far, the camera is shooting through the space grate, and you see Worf behind the space grate. And when Troy is trying to get him to open up and talk to her, he says, a leader must stand alone like Picard. And she says, no, Picard talks to me. And then the camera comes out from behind the space grate wall, showing that Worf is kind of putting his shields down, like literally removing the barrier between us and Worf.
Very nice. It's almost like these camera people and these producers actually know what they're doing.
Right?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So he's wanting to ask her about his plan to make Rastai with the boy, he calls him. And she's familiar with this ceremony called the bonding. He feels like it's his right, but Troy's like, this kid is not Klingon, and he has very different sensibilities. But Worf is like, well, he's an orphan, I'm an orphan, we can, But human kids are different. And, she's trying to make him understand that he's holding all his feelings inside and he really can't understand a whole lot right now. So if he pushes the kid too soon, it's going to backfire on Worf. And it would be like the kid betraying the love of his parent, even though Worf only wishes to honor his mom.
She also warns him that Jeremy's anger is way deep down inside and it will come out. And when it comes out, it will hit everything, including you, Worf. So,
yeah,
go be friendly or whatever, but don't rush this. So Worf rushes to Jeremy's room.
I know, right? Jesus Christ.
Oh, God. Jeremy's watching some home videos of him and his parents on the iPad and his cat. I love this cat.
Oh, so the cat looks like, and Sarah D will appreciate this, it looks like Miss Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Kitty is my cat's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And long story about Miss Kitty we'll get into later, but
this is Patches.
Is it a real, like, a movie star cat?
I'm gonna look.
Searching.
This is a calico cat played by an unknown performer.
Aww. Sorry, Patches.
The doorbell rings, and when Worf introduces himself, Jeremy knows that this is the dude that was in command of the away team. And he also knows that Worf is a Klingon, and that opens the door for Worf to be a little, do you have a moment to hear about my Lord and Savior Kahless, about his beliefs? He explains Klingons dream of dying in the line of duty like your mom, which is a bit of a smudge because dying in battle is a bit more accurate, but okay.
Yeah.
And he says they don't grieve the loss of the body. They celebrate the releasing of the spirit, which is a nice thought. I kind of like that idea of, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's like, yeah, people die. I get it. My dad died. Now my mom died. I don't know. Maybe that cat is dead under the couch right now. I get death. But Worf insists Jeremy needs to bring some meaning to his mother's death, and he offers to do this together against Troy's don't rush it.
Yeah. Well, they leave the scene there, and then they switch to the ready room where Counselor Troy comes to visit Picard to give an update on the boy, as Picard keeps calling him the boy.
That was Wesley's name.
I know. Everybody is the boy if he's a child.
Oh.
He's being really brave, and Picard's like, good, but no. Troy says he's got to get past brave. He's really angry right now, and he needs to learn how to express the anger before he can say goodbye to his mom. Picard wants to know how they can help, and Troy's like, well, Wesley's been through this. Maybe we can get him to talk to Jeremy.
The boy to the boy.
Right. But she's like, but Worf is like being a bit weird. He's suffering just as bad as the boy is, and he wants to involve Jeremy in some sort of freaking Klingon ritual called Ristai.
And again, Picard's like, that sounds wonderful. The bonding. Yes, I'm aware of that. Sounds like a fine plan. And Troy's like, no, you are not listening to me.
No one's listening to anyone. Like, everybody wants to fix this for the boy.
Mm-hmm.
But Troy's like, he's not ready to accept Worf right now. He's just lost his mom. This has got to be handled delicately. And Picard does at least acknowledge her, like, usefulness, because he breaks the news to the people. He gives the death notice, and then she's got to go pick up the pieces.
As Troy is talking about her role in bringing people back to some state of joy, Riker calls in with an energy field building up on the planet. And out on the bridge, they pinpoint this energy, but nothing shows visually when Data zooms in, and Troy can't be sure if it's a life form. She senses a presence of some kind, but the crew's emotions are particularly overwhelming at the moment. Isn't that convenient?
Convenient, yeah.
And if you're not watching closely, Picard puts the sensor data on screen. For just a moment, we see this green funnel-looking thing sort of reaching up from the planet. It's like an upside-down hurricane.
Yeah.
Then in sickbay, Wes drops by because Crusher's going to pitch this maybe you should talk to Jeremy idea. And he's pretty reluctant at first, but he says he'll think about it. And then it becomes clear that this whole situation is affecting him too.
Yeah.
And he opens right up about it. And he talks about how sometimes he can't even remember his dad's face, which is kind of scary. But then other times, like today, he can remember every detail. The way dad looked when he hugged me goodbye, Captain Picard's eyes when he came to tell us. Super emotional scene. They're just both in puddles.
Yeah.
But that also underscores something that will motivate Wes. Wes and Bev have each other. What's Jeremy got? Klingon guile?
This scene broke my heart because
Mm-hmm.
Will Wheaton did such a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great job.
On the bridge, they're reviewing their scans. Of course, it's like nothing we've ever seen before.
Phenomena.
Then suddenly and simultaneously, Geordi calls up with some unusual magnetic flux readings in the antimatter containment pods, and Troy goes, "My God."
But they don't tell us what she's going, "My God," about.
Mm-mm. I assumed it was something very bad because we're talking about the antimatter containment pods. I thought the ship was about to go boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we don't contain the antimatter and the matter come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, in Jeremy's quarters, he's back to watching his movies, and suddenly a voice comes from the other side of the room, and it's his mother. Like, where the fuck did she come from? You're supposed to be dead.
How well did you know Lieutenant Astor?
We spent some time together. Not very well. How well did you know her?
Why do you ask?
Well, you just asked me.
But
Geordi's come up to the bridge now, and he still can't figure out what's causing issues with the containment field. Data has identified some kind of energy beam coming from the planet. This all might be related. And then Troy comes up the horseshoe looking very concerned to report that there is a presence on the D. And Frake's face here, it's just a flash, but his reaction is like, eye roll, you have got to be fucking kidding me right now. Is this another Melvar alien? Like
it is. I mean,
for a flash, his face showed it all. It was great.
But they do go to yellow alert, and he acknowledges possible intruder. And sure enough, they switch back to Jeremy's quarters, and this woman, Jeremy's mother, she tries to like comfort him, and he's like, "Wait, I thought you were dead." And she's like, "Oh, that was a mistake," you know. But he's just trying to make sense of why she's here. But she's like, "Don't think any more about it. I'm fine. We have to go." And we're going to the planet. That's where we're going to live now. And he's like, "Wait, we're not going to stay on the Enterprise? No, we're going to live on a planet, a desolate planet, in a home just like we used to have on Earth. It'll be fine. You'll see. I promise."
Do they not trot him down to the morgue to see the body? Does he not get to?
Several times they could have said, you know, "I'm going to show you her body."
Yeah.
But no. But Saved by the Bell, Worf comes to the door. He comes in, and Jeremy's like, "Worf, did they tell you it was a mistake? She's alive." And he's like, "Fuck." And he pulls Jeremy over and pulls out his phaser and calls Captain Picard.
So Picard and Troy head that way, and they have Riker send security, but tell them to hang back. We don't want to provoke Zool or whatever this is. This is Melvarla.
And it's green, like the green beam coming from the planet. Wasn't he Melvar green?
Yeah, totally a Melvar alien. Melvarla says, it's time to go. We're going to the planet. And Worf lets them go out into the hallway and then radios Picard that they're on the move. So they all head to the transporter room. Melvarla and Jeremy come in and tell O'Brien, we'll be beaming down now. And they go up on the transporter pad as Picard and Troy arrive. And Picard's like, "You're not going anywhere. That boy is my responsibility. And furthermore, I have no idea who or what you even are." And of course, Jeremy is convinced now, perhaps a little too easily for my credulity, that this is his mother.
I mean, I imagine he's super confused.
Yeah.
Like, they're really fucking with his emotions. And I mean, but I get it. Like, he hasn't seen the body.
Right.
All they know, or all he knows is they told him he's that, and so the acceptance hasn't really sunk in. So this seems completely like he'll do what his mom says because it's his mom.
Worf snatches up Jeremy and he's kicking and screaming, "No, don't touch me, stranger danger," or whatever. And suddenly Melvarla disappears.
Yeah. Nobody sees it though. Everyone was turned away. And
Mhm.
so Jeremy's like, "What did you do?"
Troy basically drags him out into the hallway, still kicking and screaming.
We have to go now.
Where?
To the planet. That's where we're going to live now.
We're not gonna stay on the Enterprise anymore?
No. We're going to live in a home.
He's calmed down and they're walking back to the Astor apartment, and Troy's trying to get Jeremy to understand that was not his mother.
This would have been a good time to like, here, let me take you to see the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Besides, why would his mom want them to go live on this planet? There's no other people, no kids to play with, no school to go to, just dust and rocks.
Yeah.
And when the door opens to Casa Astor, they are both gobsmacked to see the very basic Enterprise crew quarters has transformed now into the Astor's old house on Earth, complete with patches on the couch. And what's your patches doing over there right now?
Let me show you. And he just keeps get your shit off my keyboard. He's just trying to get comfy, and
he's cleaning it. He's dusting it like a feather duster, cleaning your keyboard.
It's really annoying. Where were you?
This becomes a tug of war between Melvarla and Troy, with Jeremy stuck in the middle, wanting desperately to believe this is his mom. And Troy's like, "Listen to yourself, kid. Could your real mom make all this appear? The house, the cat. Come on, you have to come with me." But Jeremy says he can't.
Back on the bridge, Picard is talking to Troy over the phone, and he's asking if the boy is in any danger. And Troy's like, no, she seems to want to help him by easing his pain. And she's confused about our resistance.
Riker makes a really good point here.
Mm-hmm.
This woman offers Jeremy everything. All we can do is give him the cold reality of his mom's death. And Crusher adds that any of us might be tempted by the idea of getting our loved one back like this.
Yeah.
This made me think a lot about the religious conversation we had last week about what traumas can help move a person towards fantastical thinking. And
yeah,
one of the things we didn't talk about because it didn't involve children is the 4 to 14 window. So the 4 to 14 window says if you can get a kid into church between the ages of 4 and 14, you got to convert, because their brain hasn't developed enough to do the critical thinking to suss out what's real and what's not real. And so that's why, like, getting kids into church is such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think about Jeremy here in the 4 to 14, he doesn't have the critical thinking skills to really think this through. And he desperately wants to believe that his mom is still alive. And
mm-hmm.
it's that same sort of brain maturity that prevents him from being able to see the truth at this point.
Yeah. So they're going to approach this delicately. Picard tells Counselor to stay with them, and then Picard's going to try to use some science to put an end to this shit. So they hang up, and then he asks Data if he can determine how the energy source from the planet is powering it. And turns out it's using the ship's energy. It's basically using the ship's antimatter. So they surmise that, okay, there's some limits to the power. So let's increase the shield harmonics to match their own antimatter containment field. Like, I know exactly what that means. And
they're going to introduce a ground loop in the RF and short circuit this power that she's generating.
They're basically going to cut the power. So he tells Troy to stand by.
And back in Jeremy's apartment, Troy sets the table here for the magician to fail. She tells Jeremy this isn't real and it's time to put an end to this. Melvarla insists she'll never leave him again, and then abruptly she and the house illusion all disappear. And Jeremy is understandably deflated, and Troy comes over to embrace him.
Yeah. On the bridge, they're talking about what they did, The whole time I'm thinking, the intermix chamber and containment field is stable.
Where is that music coming from?
They basically severed the beam, and Picard is like, take us out of here. So they try to leave, but they see another green spike of swoosh of Melvarla rush from the planet. And next thing you know, they've got another intruder alert, and this time she goes straight to the transporter room with O'Brien, and he's ducking out of the way because this blue energy is darting all around the consoles.
Picard takes Worf and Geordi down there, and O'Brien has been chased out into the hallway by this being. And a couple of gold shirt UCs rock up with their heaters out, but the energy being knocks them out and flies away through a door. And just as suddenly as before, the home illusion in the Astor's quarters reappears along with Melvarla. And she says, "We won't let them separate us again. Let's go home." Creepy.
Why would you create this fantasy?
It's his home. And it makes you happy, doesn't it?
But it's not real.
Isn't it? Jeremy, isn't that really Patches?
She's back. Troy reports, and that she's trying to take Jeremy off the ship again.
They all get to work on setting up some barriers. Worf is heading to transporter room 3. Geordi's shutting down the transporter power, and then Picard gets off the elevator and calls for some sections of deck 8 to be sealed off.
They're playing the ultimate game of keep away.
Worf arrives to find Melvar flying around the transporter, and then it leaves. Meanwhile, outside the Astor's apartment, Melvarla and Jeremy try to leave and find force fields at each end of the hall. So hold on, are there two energy beings? Or is the energy being that's flying around the energy being, and it's different from
Yes.
Melvarla, and Melvarla's just an illusion?
Yes, because there's more than one of those beings on the planet. So yeah, she's got help.
Anyway, Picard arrives and checks in with Jeremy, who does admit to being a little frightened. And Picard promises he won't let anyone harm him as he stares daggers into Melvarla. That was a great face acting moment. And he tries to get Troy to take Jeremy to his quarters, but Melvarla refuses, and they go back into the Astor's apartment.
They switched to engineering really quickly, where they're seeing the blue light just going through all the different consoles, and the Forge is like, oh, it's looking at everything, basically going to school. Just please don't blow us up, as it's trying to figure out how to work the Enterprise. And then they get somehow the power comes back on in Transporter 3, and then LaForge does a manual override and shuts it right back down. So it's literally keep away. Hot potato.
Back in the Astor's quarters, it's time to resolve this and get everything out in the open. We learn that two species used to share this world, one of energy and one of matter. The Koinonians were the matter beings, and they destroyed themselves in war. So the energy beings that remained resolved to not tolerate any further suffering as a result of that history. So they made all of this illusion stuff happen. They're kind of just trying to make up for the fact that the bloody history on this world killed Jeremy's mom. Like, they've got good intentions. Right?
Yeah, but they don't understand humans. In trying to fix things, they're not really fixing it.
And he explains to Melvarla, like, this certainly does sound well-intentioned, but you're not his mother, and she's dead, and he's got to learn to live with that. He's like, well, I suppose it's time to bring in our secret weapon, and he calls for Wesley to come down. And while they wait, Picard and Troy start to pick away at this alien's plan. She just wants to provide Jeremy with a life free from pain and anguish, but Picard reminds us that these negative things are also part of the human existence, and that's what makes us who we are. And sure, he'd be happy for a short time, but then what? Little boys grow up and need education and healthcare and peers and eventually maybe a career and a family. Like, are you going to provide all of that? And more than all of that, in the end, he'll eventually come to understand that none of it is real, and then it won't serve him in any way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Picard says it is part of our life cycle that we accept the death of those we love. We're mortal. This is just how it is for us.
Yeah. Wesley comes in and Picard, it's like, I hate it when adults do this. They take you when you're a kid and you're like, look, Wesley's father died when he was young, as if, Wesley's not there, and he's like show and tell.
Mm-hmm.
And then Troy's like, Wesley, you told me, or your mother told me that you were finding it difficult to talk to Jeremy about this. And he really doesn't know why. It's just, this was bringing up too many memories, and he just didn't want to think about it anymore. So Picard says, I recall when I told you that your dad had been killed, you took it really well. He's like, yeah, but I just put on a brave face because that's what adults wanted. But inside, he felt, like somebody had kicked him in the head. And Picard's like, somebody? You motherfucker. He was basically he was angry with Picard for a really long time.
Yeah. Troy's like, let it go, boy. You've been wanting to let the old man have it for years.
Oh yeah, and he never did, but now's his opportunity. And he said, I was angry because you came back and my father didn't, and it was your mission. You led the mission.
And he says he carried that anger for a really long time, but now not so much. And so back to Jeremy, who has finally started crying. You must be pretty angry at Worf, right? Because he led the mission, he lived, and your mother didn't. And now Jeremy starts opening up. Worf explains that when his parents were killed and he was left alone, humans helped him. And he wants to help Jeremy now. And with a permissive nod from Troy, he asks Jeremy to become part of his family, his brother, through this Klingon ritual. Melvarla walks wordlessly up to Jeremy and briefly touches his shoulder, then walks into the background for an easier Visifex transition as she and the house illusion disappear. Worf and Jeremy light the menorah, and Worf places a Klingon sash on Jeremy and speaks some Klingon at the candles, explaining this is to honor the memory of their mothers. And Jeremy repeats the Klingon phrase. And next week on Star Trek: The Next Generation, Worf and Jeremy are brothers now, but one's a human child and the other's a grown-ass Klingon man. How will this odd couple survive moving in together? Poison tea and calisthenics fights on the holodeck, and what's that? We never see Jeremy again?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I'm like, what happened? Yeah. Did he even do his duty as a brother? Worf? I don't know. Yeah.
Off to the next adventure, I guess.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'll be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Oh, man, when Star Trek goes at grief and loss, it goes hard.
Yeah, I think they did this really well. Introducing the alien, trying to fix something, and offering basically the alien representing denial of losing someone or non-acceptance. Because it's easier.
Yeah. I think it was interesting, too, that one of the things that I just scratched down in as we were talking was, here's another assume good intent alien, right? When we encounter these beings that are fucking with your power and messing stuff up and whatever, and you have a choice to make. Do we assume that the alien is malevolent or benevolent? And a lot of times Star Trek suggests that, like, they're just, beings in the world like everybody else trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And then you put the two of them together. So now you have this alien and Worf both just wanting to help this kid through whatever he's dealing with in different ways. And I thought that was interesting.
But kind of forceful ways, what does Jeremy want? And they sort of discount what he wants. they're like everybody know, and because he is a child, they have that right to
Yeah.
think they know what's good for them, good for the child. But
Mhm.
ask Jeremy, give him
Well,
time.
what he wants is for Melvarla to take him down to the planet
Yeah.
until he's convinced otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, this is really a Worf story. Like he obviously feels guilty about leading the mission that killed Astor, but more than that, he's really empathetic about the position Jeremy's put in because he's been that kid. He was there. He was a child whose parents were killed, and so you have that between him and Wesley and Jeremy. You have this kind of common thread of having lost parents and knowing how to deal with it.
And well, everyone actually. So it reminds. So anytime someone dies, the only way that you can connect with the person that's lost is to think about what you've lost or how you've had a similar experience. So they talk about losing Tasha, and everyone's talking about their own loss as a way to like make sense of like how to help Jeremy. And we do that like a lot, you know, when someone dies, a friend loses someone, well, and then you start talking about, oh well, I lost my so and so, and
Sure,
you just
try to relate,
connect and relate and connect.
Yep.
And but I do love how they just rallied around this kid, trying even though they fucked up a lot, to just try to help him through it.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that leads into this is jumping the gun a little bit on the Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge, but I'm glad they didn't do Jeremy recreates his mom on the holodeck for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
I think that might have been too standard a storyline, like even with the holo sci-fi bits, like a kid refuses to believe the bad thing that actually happened
Yeah.
and retreats into a fantasy to cope. Much better, I think, was kid who was actually starting to process the bad thing that happened is whisked into a fantasy by an outside force, by an alien who feels a little responsible for the death.
Right.
And just doesn't understand humans. I think that's a much more interesting story.
Yeah, agree.
Gene was right. Not always. But in this case, I think Gene was right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that Gene's idea that that even young people in the future would have a better handle on how to process death than we currently do now, I think is a what's that? An ideal to aspire to.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that he's optimistic about, he was optimistic. I'm not, but
Nope.
I'm not.
Loss
but,
hurts, man.
It does. And it doesn't get any easier. And I just remember that episode from the cartoon, the animated series, where Spock went back, and I think this was when he went back in time and his pet died.
Salat. Yeah.
His Salat died.
Salat. Yeah.
And that was written specifically for kids to be able to, you know, talk about death and understand it.
It does make me think a lot about my daughter is struggling with mental health stuff at 10 years old. And when I went through it in 7th grade, or my 8th grade, my freshman year, it was 8th grade and then into my freshman year, is when I had my big like breakdown. And that's when I was diagnosed with depression and ADHD. And all they knew to do then was just put you on Ritalin and hope for the best.
Right.
You know, and they tried to take me to therapy, but I didn't have the language to talk about what was going on. And there were no like gender diverse specific therapists who specialize in shit that I was dealing with.
Right.
We do now. And so I guess that's my point is I listened to my daughter talk to her friends about, I went to the doctor and this is what they said. And now I'm on this medication that my whole family is on. We all take the same depression drugs. And, but she's so open and free when she talks to her friends about what she's going through and how she's feeling and how she's treating it. And we didn't do that when we were kids. You didn't have feelings, first of all, and you sure as fuck didn't talk about them if you had one.
No.
And so I think about how things have changed even in just this generation.
Yeah.
Where kids are more open about their mental health and so they're processing it and talking about it differently than we ever did. And so is the idea that kids would handle grief in the future differently? Yeah, I can buy that.
Good point. You're absolutely right. Good point. I didn't think about that because when I, like you, grew up a little bit earlier than you did, like maybe 10 years. And as a black person, there's no talk about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
When you're growing up in the 80s and you're black and suppose you can't deal with stuff, so
You're right.
what? You don't get to talk about how you're feeling. You don't get to talk about that you have anxiety.
Yep.
You just pull yourself up by your bootstrap and you deal with it because ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Not in my family, not in a black family. In a black family, therapy, come on. In the 80s, there's no way.
It's such a prevalent thing now, and like people are embracing mental health, and I think it's great.
Yeah, there's still resistance, like
Sure.
It's in the black community, I think it's still new, but it's getting better. And then for men in general, it's still
yes.
But again, you're right. It's being talked about more, and you're seeing commercials for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They have commercials for therapists.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
My last couple of thoughts, I guess. I love that Wesley gets to kind of come at Picard and have one last outburst of emotion and just get it all out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but I'm not angry anymore. Not really. Like, this is how I felt. And I don't know, Wesley, because the outburst belies the truth of the situation, which is there's still a little, and there probably always will be a little sore nerve there, but consciously, he's moved on, and losing his dad still hurts, and it sucks that Picard was the one that had to break the news, but he gets that, he understands it now as an adult.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I would love to have learned more about these aliens. Did we drop a Melvar beacon outside of this planet? No, we just fuck off to the next adventure.
Well, hopefully the intelligent beings have defused all the fucking bombs so that if anyone else comes, they won't blow up.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, they fucked off.
Well, we have a death this week.
We do. Sadly. And I was like, I'm not gonna make this funny because it's not funny.
No.
It's not funny. But yeah, we had a death. Wrote a rhyme about it. Want to hear it?
Yes.
Here it goes.
We're here together to honor our friend and comrade. We will all find time to grieve for her in the days that are ahead. But for now, she has asked that we celebrate her life with this.
Rest in peace, Marla Astor. Rest in peace, Marla Astor. Worf was on a mission when tragedy struck, just doing the job. It was just bad luck. Then explosion quick, thinking they were beamed away. But Lieutenant Marla Astor was DOA. She left behind a 12-year-old boy, and so they finally made use of Counselor Troy, doing her thing to help. You're cracking me up. I'm seeing you.
You can't look at me.
I know.
Oh, God.
She left behind a 12-year-old boy, so they finally made use of Counselor Troy, doing her thing to help the healing, making everybody open up, express their feelings. This whole episode was about dealing with pain of death and grief and loss, the strain, acceptance, responsibility, and the blame. No matter how you lose someone, you're never the same. Rest in peace, Marla Astor.
I love it.
Cool. I didn't mean to make it.
It's always good when you bust me up.
And I'm seeing you out of the corner of my eye, and I just lost it.
Oh, that was good.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you. I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money?
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
And as always, we want to thank everyone who supports the show at patreon.com/humanisttrek. A special thanks to Allie, Peter, Sarah D., Bruce, the Bear and Cured podcast, and some call him Tim. Thank you so much.
Thank you, patrons.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind. Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
All right, Becca's back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge question for the bonding. Remind us once again the question.
Writer Ronald D. Moore's original idea was for Jeremy Astor to recreate his mother on the holodeck. Why did Gene Roddenberry nix this idea?
And what did we say?
You said it would hinder the acceptance of death.
I think I talked in a lot more circles than that, but if that's what you got
That's
from
what
it,
I got
that's-
from everything you said.
That's what we ended up with.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm inclined to give this to you.
Affirmative.
Ooh, okay.
Because yes, Gene believed that in the 24th century, children would have a greater acceptance of death.
All right.
So you were there.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We'll take the point. Somebody needs to update the scoreboard. I haven't done that in a while.
Somebody.
Somebody with access to the scoreboard
Yeah.
needs to update the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. And if you'd like access to update the scoreboard, you can submit an application.
Oh, God.
It is an unpaid internship. Next time on Humanist Trek, we'll be reviewing Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 6, Booby Trap. You said booby.
You said booby. They should call it titty trap.
The Enterprise is caught in a titty trap that captures the ship and converts its energy into lethal levels of radiation. Okay, I remember this episode. Allie's shaking her head very confusedly, but Allie, you'll remember this episode as the one where Geordi goes on a very awkward date on the beach and they drink Coco No-Nos and he recreates Leah Brahms in the holodeck, the lady that helped design the Enterprise and has that awkward
Cringe,
thing.
and then she shows up.
Yeah, later, like not in this episode,
Okay.
but in another episode, she shows up and finds that he's recreated her on the holodeck.
Ew, awkward. Yeah.
Yeah. What's our question for Booby Trap?
In this episode, Dr. Leah Brahms is played by Susan Gibney. What other Trek roles did she audition for?
Oh, Christ.
Maybe she did she audition for Dr. Crusher or
Counselor Troy? That's the women, Troy and Crusher. I mean, I don't see her as Lieutenant Yar.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I'd say doctor, but could
There's
be counselor.
5 total.
5? Okay, so there are some that are not main cast.
You mean in TNG though?
roles.
It's Trek roles, so it's not closed to
Oh.
Shit.
TNG.
Shit. So
Yeah.
I can't see her 7 or 9.
Janeway?
B'Elanna Torres.
Oh,
I
maybe
can see
yeah.
her there. Well, since you
Okay, 5?
so B'Elanna.
Mm-hmm.
But then there could also be Kira. Or are you talking about throughout?
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
All of Star Trek. I feel like this is some bullshit background, like non-main character, like this role that she got.
Yeah.
And how the fuck would I know those? So all I can do is guess main cast characters.
Well, pick your 5. And if you want to pick the same 5 or pick 2 different 5, you're going to have to break it down for me because I'm going to record it.
Okay.
So we have to pick one of those, though, right?
You can pick up to 5, and
Yeah,
then you can get a
5.
point for each one that you get right.
Okay, so let's go Troy Crusher,
Yeah.
Kira,
Yes.
Dax.
Yes. And do you think Balana?
Yeah, Torres.
All right. Are you all in agreement, or do you have a different guess, Sally?
At this point, we're gonna have to go with teams unless I absolutely know the answer. We'll
Yeah, I think we're going to stick together.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you want to pick a team, you know how to do that. Head out to your social media, share your answer with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge. We'll pick out a winner. And next time, we'll discuss Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 6, Booby Trap.
It is a good day to die.
Beverly.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcast. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/humanisttrek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.